Hey guys, and welcome or welcome back to my channel, Let Her Create, where today we're talking clipping mask in Affinity Designer. I finally figured out how to use the clipping mask effectively the other day when I created these ransom letters. On the left side of the screen, you see that I have the ones that look like they've been perfectly cut with an X-Acto knife. And on the right side, you see that I have some that look like they've been torn out of the magazine themselves. I wanted to have a perfect edge, and I wanted to have a torn edge to create different looks throughout my designs. I'm going to close out of here, and we're going to start with a new document. Not that one. I said new. So new document. On the screen, you see that I have a 4" by 3" pixel 300 DPI. Those settings really don't matter. You work in what works best for you. I'm going to zoom out of the screen, and I'm going to add a rectangle. I'm going to add a shape. I'm going to add two shapes. And I'm going to turn one a different color. Turn this one green, and I'll turn this one gold, or whatever color you call that. Mustard. So I have my two shapes, and I'm going to click over to the layers panel. Now on the layers panel, you see just what's listed in your layers, but under this plus sign, you have vector layer, pixel layer, mask, empty mask layer. Those masks operate differently. The vector layer is kind of self-explanatory. Anytime you make a shape, that's a vector layer, but you can also make like an empty layer and then put things in the layer. Another day for that discussion, because today we're talking about the mask layer. The pixel layer is something we will encounter working with masks because you have to work on them in the pixel persona, because you need those brushes. You're removing away pixels, so you need the raster effect that is in the pixel persona. The empty mask layer works over the entire document, and it has an effect. It will come in and it looks like someone put a white piece of paper on top of your document. So I'm going to make sure that my artboard is selected and not my shape, because I don't want to clip my mask layer to to that particular shape. So it looks like both of my shapes are gone. But when I go over to the pixel persona, and again, I'm going to get my brush. It doesn't matter what color you use as long as you're on the pixel layer, because you'll be able to erase off of that piece of paper. And it's going to reveal what's underneath the bottom. So because those rectangles were there, that's what it revealed. So nothing in particular happened necessarily to the rectangles themselves, but it looks like a whole lot has gone on. They're removed, they're cut, or however. So can you see how you can use those in a design? And so when that mask layer came in, it came in black in the layer panel. But do you see where I've hashed out? And if you want to make sure you're like looking at what's going on your panel, if you want to see a different view, you can select this icon here and it will change the view for you and show you in a larger size of this panel here. But nothing is wrong with those rectangles when I turn that layer off. And you can tell that it's a pixel thing because it has the pixel brush beside, has the brush tool beside it. So I'm going to click over to the mustard rectangle, and this time instead of adding an empty mask layer, I'm going to add a mask layer. And I'm going to open the layers panel again, and now we see that we have a white rectangle that has been clipped into that mustard rectangle. Now the mask, you draw on the mask the same way that you would on your other document. Now, if you want to use color, like this is pushing out some color because of what I have. So, well, because it's not black and white. But I'm going to delete that mask and show you what that looks like in white. And when we use black. So this time, it's revealing the white of the artboard. So if I move my rectangle and bring it here, I can now see the green rectangle underneath. And I'll put that back, and I will turn on my mask layer again. So since I went in on this layer and did some more erasing, you can see where it added those lines. So I'm going to turn all of this off because no, I'm not. Because that mask is clipped to that layer, everything under there is going to be under that mask. So what I'm going to do for the next design is just add another artboard. And now we're going to start with the ransom letters. So I'm going to go back over to the design persona, and I'm going to pick a font in a minute. I'm just going to type out the letter Q. I'm going to do uppercase Q. And I want to pick a different font. I want to go for a font that I like, that I enjoy. Okay, we'll try that one. So I have my letter Q. And now I need my rectangle. So instead of struggling with moving to the layer, I'm just going to go to the top and use the move function and bring that to the top. So I have that there. Now I want to clip this in here. I like to have it clipped. I like all of my layers to be neat and my elements. That way when I close everything, I can see what it is on top. So I have my letter Q, and I want to still make some changes to this rectangle. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to convert to curves. And now that it's a curve, I can use that node tool and make changes. To get a different look for my letter Q. If I want to have a rounded edge, I can. And I think that's fine. So, and it stayed clipped. Anyway. So now I have that. And I'm going to go to the layers panel and add my empty mask layer. So ensuring that I'm on my mask, I'm going to go into the pixel persona and select my brush. I don't like these brushes because that's not what I wanted. Now, because I can remake a rectangle, I really don't care about keeping its shape when I manipulated the nodes. I can make another one of those. But I want to make sure, maybe if I want to preserve the shape of the piece that I like, of the background, I can do that. But I'm going to go on my mask layer and making sure I'm on my mask with my black, and I'm going to erase. And remember that because we're erasing, we won't see the edge. Now, because I want a little bit more I want to make sure it's like not leaving any of the little artifacts that I see it leaving. I'm going to turn up the accumulation of the flow of my brush and kind of clean it up a little bit. And I have a stray mark. I guess it doesn't matter. But now my letter Q is being clipped. So I'm going to go back over to the design persona. And when I was making these originally, that was one of the things I was really glad that I could go back in and manipulate after the fact, that everything was on its own layer, because that's kind of how this process went. It was really organic when it came together. So now I have my pixel layer. I just went in real quick and added a pixel layer because I still want to have like that white edge or whatever edge I have going on my item. So in fact, hold on. Let's duplicate the entire thing. That way we have both. Just like on the other side. I have one that's with the torn edge without white, and then the other one will be with a white torn edge. So collecting that pencil and making sure I'm on the right one. Okay. So I'm going to go back into that one's pixel layer, and I'm going to pick white. And I'm just going to draw around the edge with my brush on the pixel layer. Okay, I had to make sure it was selected from that side as well. So now, when I look into the layers panel, I'm drawing on top of the Q in white. And again, because that is it's on its own layer, it's non-destructive and it will turn off. So I want to see what this looks like. And when I made these, I worked on a colored background so I could see what it looks like. But I ended up liking everything about how these look. And the possibilities of understanding this are endless. So I have one with the white and one without. And then there are other different effects that you can add to these. So if you want to, you can add another outline to it. I didn't like the outline because it still had little bitty pieces of like chalk dust, if you want to call it, since that's the kind of brush I use, hanging around. And so it picks that up. But one thing that I did add was the outer shadow. So I just added a drop shadow to it. And I went really close on it. And sometimes I change my drop shadows so they're not so harsh. Like I like a good drop shadow, but sometimes it's too much. And I should have done that in this panel. That way it would sync properly. So there it is in the background. Go really close. And the letter is done. So real quick, in under 15 minutes, you guys learned how to use the clipping mask, when to use the clipping mask, where they were, and what all they do. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, give me a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so I can keep posting. And you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.